This news program is proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Now Biscuits.
Octedi CEO maintains position. Family of young man stabbed to death call for justice. And law and order sector to receive more funding next year. Good evening, you're watching National EMTV News. I'm Grace Papiali. Thank you for joining us. Member for North Fly James Donald and the people of Western Province are not happy with the current termination of Octedi Mining's Managing Director Muse Wera last Friday. Mr. Donald raised this concern at the Parliament House on Tuesday this week.
Dr. Higgins clarified that Otiomel Board has the authority to terminate its staff, but as it stands, no staff member of Otiomel was terminated. The board understands the expectations of government, whose interest in Otiomel is managed by Kumul Minerals Holdings Limited on behalf of trustee shareholder and Minister for State Enterprise. The director mentioned that stability must be maintained to meet production targets. He made these remarks after member for North Fly James Donald, on behalf of the people of Western, raised his concern at the Parliament House on Tuesday this week. Mr. Donald questioned the State Enterprises Minister if any faults are known so that they could know.
Number two question, enough me talking Mipla, as reason why this MD only second. Now, one aswa I'm making, so Mipla by somewhere.
In response, Minister Duma said he is not aware of the situation and yet to confirm from the company's directors.
Confirm or deny whether the good gentleman has been terminated or not, because these are management matters and I have not received any formal advice as the trustee shareholders delegate of this event happening. So this is news to me.
Mr. Wero remains the managing director and CEO, and operation has not been affected and is progressing well. Jim John, National EMTV News.
Relatives of the late Simon Effie, who was allegedly stabbed at Erima, recently say enough is enough. They are calling on relevant authorities, including respective members of parliament in NCD and the Central Province, to immediately step in and address these killings happening in the nation's capital.
These are family members of late Simon Effie. According to the family, this is not the first time such brutal killings has occurred, and to a person of the same area. The family members are calling on the respective provincial governments to immediately address these unlawful killings.
Maybe like him, one black action must come up, either coming up from the must be noticed directives, coming out from the governor's directives, or some kind of way he can come out, show him confidence to people, Kairuku, and Central Province as a whole. And the silent Papua New Guineans who are so disgusted by this unnecessary, filthy attitude that's happening out in the streets of Port Moresby, Mibla makes the sing out. If the members of parliament who are now listening to us, come visit us in the house, cry Mibla. Morning, night, Bambla sin down, rain, sun, Bambla sin down.
A petition will be presented to all provincial governments in the coming days.
This is not the first time the people from Mekio have been attacked and murdered. We're also planning, as a team, in partnership with the Kairuku Mekio Kunis, we'll be planning and we'll be petitioning the government of NCD, Central Province and the national government to hear our voice. Our voice has to be heard.
The family say they will organize a meeting and are appealing to people of the Central Province to attend. They say enough is enough and they want appropriate measures to be taken immediately to curb these killings and lawlessness occurring in the capital city of Port Moresby.
The blood of our children are crying from the soil and their bones are shouting out to us and we are hearing. While it's manageable, please work on it. Maybe we're not making understanding. We will not go out there and victimize any innocent people. Maybe we're not making this law. Maybe like a respect of the government of the day. Maybe like a respect of the state agencies in place.
Late Simon Effie of Makeo District was 23 years old when he unfortunately met his tragic death in the suburb of Erima on Monday. He is survived by his family members and his girlfriend, who is 7 months pregnant. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
The Royal PNG Constabulary and PNG Defence Force has launched the 20 days human rights activism campaign today at Murray Barracks in Port Moresby. With the theme Ending Violence Against Women and Girls Begins with Self-Discipline, the two disciplinary forces had a joint parade from Boroko Police Station to Murray Barracks to symbolize unity in standing together in support of the call for global actions.
The participants for this morning's parade under police force were Family and Sexual Violence Unit, Bomana Police College, and NCD Public Safety. Under Defence Force, Goldie Training Depot, Murray Barracks, Taroma Barracks, and FSV2 Path. The three disciplinary forces, Royal PNG Constabulary, PNG Defence Force, and Correctional Service play an important role in addressing and advocating to end violence against women and girls. The Chief of PNG Defence Force, Mark Goina, thanked the participants and acknowledges the important demonstration of unity in addressing gender-based violence not only within their disciplinary force but throughout PNG. He said in the PNG Defence Force, Gender Equality and Policy Committee was created to ensure that PNG Defence, like the Police Force and the Correctional Service, have the opportunity and the support to maximize the contributions in ending GBV and to ensure that they are able to undertake their core task of defending PNG.
We are also required to support and in compliance with the National Public Service Gender Equity and Social Inclusion obligations and consistent with the PNG Constitution preamble, which calls for equal participation of citizens in all political, economic, and social and religious activities.
Moving forward as an organization, he acknowledges equal opportunities and participation for all employees in the disciplinary force. He urged the Police Force, Correctional Service, and Defence Force to set examples in ending the GBV. The Deputy Commissioner Police, Donald Yamasombi, said they have to set a benchmark as it starts with them to end gender-based violence.
It starts with us. How can we police Papua New Guinea? How can we police the residents of our country if you and I do not lead the way?
Antonio Wagambi Jr., the Assistant Commissioner of Police and Divisional Commander NCDN Central, also shared the same sentiments, saying they are participating to show the rest of the Papua New Guineans that they are against gender-based violence.
We are going through many challenges in our country. Now, plan is something as long as this plan. You must treat them house line to be past them. Our homes, our women and our children are very important. The foundations of our family forms our community and forms country.
The two disciplinary forces have sports activities at Murray Barracks after the launching. Estagane, National EMTV News.
About 150 participants from various Highlands provinces gathered in Enga province and conversed for a positive mindset change in ending all forms of violence. The Highlands Regional Forum on Ending All Forms of Violence in commemoration of the 20-day of Human Rights Activism campaign is hosted by the Department of Community Development, Youth and Religion in partnership with the Enga Provincial Government, UN Women, Australian High Commission Commission, CIMC, and National Fisheries Authority has provided the space for a collective discussion around GBV and human rights issues.
When acknowledging the participants and the partners, Deputy Secretary responsible for Community Development Division, Mr. Warren Marape, spoke about workable systems and positive mindset change in ending all forms of violence. He said it takes only few committed young men and women to fight against violence and to drive positive change in our Christian-dominated communities where violence is prevalent. Men have a role to protect our women, reshape our children so they grow up with changed mindset and create a system that will protect our daughters and mothers from violence. He said the department is very committed to work with NGOs in identifying possible systems from the top level down to our community level to ensure we have a systematic protection for our women and girls. Civil Registry Registrar General Dixon Kiragi, who was the moderator at the forum, encouraged respective provinces to take ownership and start addressing violence. UN Women Representative Sil Polkin shared similar sentiments and highlighted that both men and women have equal rights and equal opportunities. He said expectations of men shouldn't be on masculinity, but to be the champions in creating safer homes and violence-free communities. Enga Deputy Provincial Governor Jerry Paul Phillip thanked the department and pledged to take the lead in raising awareness and driving positive change in addressing GBV and human rights issues in his province. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
The Deputy Prime Minister, John Rosso, has asked the parliamentarians for their support when the budget is passed next week, Tuesday, specifically on the law and order sector. He announced a doubled-up budget for the magisterial services and the police. The country has been waiting on this year's national budget to be passed down since Tuesday, the 22nd of November. Unfortunately, it has been deferred to next week, Tuesday, the 29th of this month. In this national budget, the Deputy Prime Minister, John Rosso, has announced that a doubled-up cut will be for the law and order sector, which is the magisterial services and the police force. Magisterial services will be allocated budget for goods and services.
Out of the whole of last year and this year, the magisterial services got for goods and services only 3.6 million kina. That is ridiculous. So we as government have decided now to ramp up that funding for the magisterial services. We have actually doubled the budget from this year so that they can complement the sector from the whole law and order perspective.
Rosso said over the years, law and order has been a major issue in the country.
In the law and order has culminated over a lot of years because of a lot of situations, partly due to funding. Past previous governments had not adequately resourced the police force, the CIS and the justice system. That has led to a breakdown of a lot of things. Within the police force itself, to get a complete cycle of conviction, you need from the start the police force to make arrest. Once they do the arrest, then you need successful prosecution. We do not have adequate skilled prosecutors or sufficient prosecutors to the point where they can get prosecution.
Rosso appealed to the members of parliament for support when the national budget will be handed down next week, Tuesday. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. A total of 130 students from MAPEX Training Institute in Port Moresby received their certificates in plant operator and motor vehicle driving courses. The third batch graduated today.
Increased number of tourists and other
Speaking at the graduation ceremony, the Chief Executive Director of the institution, Marcus Palem-Kara, says they are looking forward to training more students in the coming years.
New enrollment is coming up, which starts by December and onwards, and the class will commence by February 2023.
He says there are plans to establish these MAPEX training centers in other parts of the country if respective provincial and district leaders are willing to partner with them to train their people.
The students can at least have recognized qualification to find jobs and other venues.
The graduates receive their certificates in Moxie driving, meaning big trucks used at mine sites, certificates in light motor vehicle, PMB, excavator, mobile crane operator and semi-trailer. Upon receiving their certificates, police clearance and driving license of each graduate were also issued to them. Principal of the Port Moresby MAPEX Center, Wilson Jacob, encouraged the graduates to apply their knowledge and skills they have acquired at the training center in their various places of employment.
You yourself, with that passion that you have and you take up that course, can give up long, push forward.
Building human resources with good skills and attitudes, including behaviors, is important that will contribute meaningfully to the country's development. Here is now one of the female graduates who have just completed her studies in Moxie driving.
Hi, my name is Catherine Ragala and I just graduated. I just completed my Moxie course driving, and I just want to encourage females out there. I know it's a male-dominated course, and most times we get there's so many things that we get from societies. You hear a lot of things, especially negativity. Don't listen to what people say. Don't listen to what they're saying, because it will just drag you down. You just forget what people say and you focus on yourself. And whatever that you're aiming for, just go for it. Don't let anyone drag you back and take you down. Please, don't get scared. Whatever that you want to achieve, whatever that you're aiming for in life, go for it.
The graduates were encouraged to continue their studies in near future. Jim John, National EMTV News.
56 firefighters graduated today in Port Moresby. Of the 56 firefighters, 6 were women. Present to officiate the certification ceremony was Minister for Defense Win Bakri Daki. Also attending the ceremony were families and friends of the graduates.
To get the graduation started were the CS Band. This then saw the firefighters march onto the field, all dressed in their fire brigade uniforms, displaying their marching skills. Shortly after was the arrival of the Chief Fire Officer, followed by the Minister for Defense Win Bakri Daki, who officiated the ceremony. During the speeches, Chief Fire Officer congratulated the new recruits on their passing and into the workforce as firefighters.
Today marks an important occasion for 56 personnel who are standing before us, who will within the next couple of minutes will be marching out as certified firefighters. After 8 weeks of rigorous training at the Fire Service Training College at Geru.
He said PNG Fire Service will now have the opportunity to increase its manpower. Not only that, but also provide employment opportunities for Papua New Guineans.
Women firefighters who are passing out together with their male colleagues. The women firefighters have proven their worth by passing all the pace of the training, and this has proven that they are serious in the profession that they have chosen to be fire and rescue officers in a male-dominated field.
Alluding to Chief Fire Officer was Minister Win Daki, who encouraged the officers to not work for the money, but rather work for the country.
I need more people. I need more manpower. Inside the country, believe me, we need more people to provide service for the fire service.
This was followed by presentations to the graduates. Following the presentation, the CS band and escorted the graduates out to end the graduation ceremony. The next lot of officers for Port Moresby will graduate next year. Godwin Eki, National MTV News.
A group of passionate scientists from within the Pacific region are in the country to assess the impacts of the coconut rhinoceros beetle and how best they can find solutions to contain this rising concern, especially in our coastal communities. Group representative Dr. Trevor Jackson said coconut rhinoceros beetle infestation is not only a problem in PNG, but a regional problem that needs urgent attention on how to counterattack the spread of this deadly beetle and to protect our coconut trees.
The Pacific Awareness and Response to Coconut Rhinoceros Beetle project team have traveled to certain coastal provinces in the country, including Madang, East and West New Britain provinces, respectively, and the New Ireland province to assess impacts and damages caused by the coconut rhinoceros beetle. Upon their return to Port Moresby yesterday, they gathered at the Nakia office to discuss their findings and surveys. According to Dr. Trevor Jackson, there is limited impact at the moment. However, this group of scientists are not taking any chances. Dr. Jackson said they have learned that indigenous substances or opponents are working against the coconut rhinoceros beetle, preventing it from causing extensive damages to our coconut trees.
Particularly in some areas where there was an outbreak, the outbreak started a year or so ago. Instead of increasing, it subsided. So we are looking at those beetles. We found beetles in that area with evidence of diseases, and so the investigation part of this is to look and see whether there are natural diseases that can come from the bush, enemies of our enemies. These are good microbes. They only affect these pest insects.
Upon the group's assessment, the G-type beetle is of concern. However, certain substances and viruses have been introduced to counterattack the beetle from further spreading.
The project that we are under is funded by MFED, and it covers Solomon Islands, Papua New Guinea, and Vanuatu. And in PNG, our partners are Nakia, Kik, and also PNG Opera. And we are looking at particularly the management efforts. So we use the existing management options that are available to try and assist the countries to control the beetle.
This project is fully supported by PNG's Coconut Industry Corporation and Nakia, and is funded by the New Zealand government and implemented by Pacific communities. Lindy Suharupa, National MTV News.
CPL, under its Supporting Local SME platform, launched a local Galip nut brand in Port Moresby today. CPL Foundation Chairman Sir Mahesh Patel highlighted that they will continue to provide market for the farmers and producers and encourage for continued consistence from the farmers and producers.
Local farmers and producers continue to receive support from the CPL company to market their brands locally, and if continued to maintain consistency, will venture into exporting brands overseas. Today, CPL launched one of the local Galip nut product from Kokopo under this platform, supporting local SME brands and products. CPL Foundation Chairman Sir Mahesh Patel highlighted that CPL will remain delighted to support local brands and putting the money to where the mouth is.
Which we've been prophesizing for years and years and years, that we got to put our money where our mouth is. If we say we're going to support farmers, we're going to support SMEs, this is the way to do it. We will help create the market.
SERMA has urged customers to buy local products and support our local farmers and producers so to keep the production going.
It's great nutrition value, and my argument always is that why buy imported products when we can get local? So we're encouraging customers, and the thing is, it's expensive, it's not cheap. And we also try and maintain the fact the farmers must get a fair price. So whilst people might say it's expensive, it's not expensive when you know that it's helping our farmers as well. It's not that the margins we make, but 1 ton of nut, and you can imagine the nuts they go. So you got your layer, then a hard nut, then you got to break it, and then you got to dry it. So it's a big process. So 1 ton of nuts will only give you 3 kilograms of the finished products. So from there to here is a lot of hard work. So the processing is costly as well. So I'm saying, okay, it's a PNG grown product, it helps our farmers, and it's a better product.
This garlic nut product is said to be healthy and full of nutrition and will be made available in Stop and Shop's outlet in Port Moresby. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the NAS Fund market report, the kina closed unchanged at $0.2840 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.2765 $0.4058 Australian dollars, $0.2583 euro, 37.92 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee closed lower, cocoa closed lower, copper closed lower, palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading higher, copper closed lower. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading higher, the All Ordinaries is trading higher. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Acting Provincial Administrator for Anga, Sandy Saka, has been visiting all electorates in the province since last week to have a glimpse of what needs to be done in the province, especially in terms of service delivery.
Saka says since his temporary appointment by the National Executive Council for 3 months, he had developed a 100 days plan to help set the province in the right direction.
It's not how long you start on the work, it's what you do in the time that you are in the job. So here is the thinking. People are developing on a 100-day plan. 100-day plan, I'll get the TMT members or district staff, people will get the team. One of something we will achieve in 100 days here. We will identify 6 priorities.
Saka also added that since the passing of his predecessor, late Dr. Samson Amian, gabbled with election-related disturbances, his team is now working on 6 identified key areas for improved service delivery.
Because when they pass away in the election, we talk about continuity and stability of the government. With the address legislation. So give confidence to work months over, but people don't get that. Stakeholders from influence and government will just start. End of sleep. End number 1. Number 2, completing of ongoing projects from government and maintaining basic services. End number 2. Number 3, and law and order. People get like working on another something, but without law and order, or another something people are working on the wara nothing. Number 4, people are strengthening on governance and management institutions from people of government so that people are more efficient and effective. Number 5, it wasn't every year and people are look forward beyond 100 years. How can people grow and improving what basic services people are already got? And the last one, stakeholder partnership and management. Try to talk with you plus stakeholder in the development process.
Saka also calls on all district development authorities to prepare to work together with the provincial government and administration to see coordination in service delivery. Thomas Suliambari, National EMTV News.
And now moving to overseas news, authorities in Ukraine are racing to restore power to major cities after a series of deadly Russian strikes.
The electricity supply in the capital, Kyiv, is gradually coming back online, but widespread cuts have caused chaos. A series of Russian missile strikes on infrastructure means Ukraine has had to shut down all its nuclear power stations, but some have been reconnected. The EU Commission has accused Russia of trying to freeze innocent people and says the attacks on infrastructure amount to war crimes. And US President Joe Biden says the price cap on Russian oil being proposed under the G7 are in play. The White House sees the measure as a way to cut oil revenues for Russia, a major source of its funding for its war against Ukraine, while keeping Russian oil flowing and avoiding price spikes.
Yes, and it's in play. There's no time to walk away from Ukraine. Not at all.
Indonesian President Joko Widodo has visited the site of that deadly earthquake in West Java for the first time.
Monday's earthquake killed at least 270 people and left thousands of others sheltering in tents. Authorities are struggling to get supplies to displaced people, with rain-triggered landslides and difficult mountainous terrain hampering rescue teams. Mr Widodo says he wants to ensure relief supplies are distributed quickly, but he acknowledges the process has been difficult.
We also want to ensure that the logistics in the field, such as food and medicine, are all well distributed. This includes the lack of tents, and there are complaints about clean water. All of this because there are lots of shelters, so it takes time to distribute them.
China has recorded its highest number of daily COVID cases of pandemic despite stringent measures designed to eliminate the virus.
Major cities, including the capital Beijing and southern trade hub Guangzhou, are experiencing outbreaks. Wednesday saw more than 31,000 cases compared to with a peak in April of 28,000. The numbers are still small for a country of 1.4 billion people. Officially, its pandemic death toll stands at just over 5,200.
National EMTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. And Hohola Rugby League started its round 4 matches today and will end on Sunday. Since the start of the competition, the tournament has been running smoothly.
Since the start of the Hohola off-season league, the tournament after 4 weeks went into its season proper, where more than 40 teams registered to take part in the tournament. Teams in the competition came from various parts of the city. Some teams have come from 2 other electorates as well. Not only did the tournament attract players and interested clubs for the season, but it has also attracted supporters and spectators. Towards the middle of the competition, they are expected to see female teams participate as well in the tournament. Hohola Rugby League also have other events lined up for this year towards the festive season. Godwin Eki, Trukai Sport. Eki.
Port Moresby Rugby League has deferred its award presentation of the season to a later date. According to the administrator, Meke Maino, the presentation is expected to take place next week. Those in the list to receive the award are asked to get in touch with PRL. Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Cristiano Ronaldo has broken yet another record as his nation, Portugal, beat Ghana 3-2.
He scored from the penalty spot, and in doing so, he becomes the first man to score in 5 different World Cups. There it is there. He goes and does his traditional Sui celebration. João Felix produced a nice finish to give them the lead after the scores were levelled at 1-1, and then Rafael Leao added a third to hand Portugal their first win in the opening match of a World Cup since 2006. Even if there was some late drama, Ghana pulled back to within 1 goal with about 10 minutes to go. It wasn't the most convincing win for Portugal, but they got it done. But here's the goal. I think it's about to come up now. Look at this. This ball controlled by Richarlison for Brazil, and then over the shoulder. I mean, the skill to do that is unbelievable. So the Brazilian team, they were too good for Serbia, knocking them off 2-0. There's another look at Rock and Ronnie. Have a look at him go. So yeah, Portugal
finding some joy after all the Manchester.
This Sunday is the AFLW Grand Final with Brisbane and Melbourne to face off at the Lions New Springfield Arena in Brisbane, Australia.
Well, this is where the AFLW Grand Final will be held this year, with the Brisbane Lions taking on the Melbourne Demons this Sunday. Preparations are well underway here at this brand new facility in Springfield. This is what the Brisbane Lions have been waiting for a very long time. They've been dealing with, well, frankly, substandard facilities that they would have to deal with at the Gabba, and a lot of their training facilities were just not up to scratch, whereas now they have, things that are on par with some of the best teams in the AFL competition. The first ever game will be held here this Sunday, with this grand final being played here. The Brisbane Lions team aiming for its second AFLW Grand Final win. It hosted the first ever AFLW Grand Final on the Gold Coast at Carrara Stadium. But it will be certainly a big match here. It's already sold out, and this facility actually holds around 8,000 people. There's only 600 seats, but you can cram 8,000 people in here, so it will be quite the spectacle when everyone is here. It's been a big year for AFL in Queensland. 58,000 participants registered this year, according to AFL Queensland. 12,000 girls in Queensland also played their first ever game of AFL. So we'll have the grand final here, and then no doubt the Brisbane Lions men's team will be here over summer, training hard for what will be a big AFL season for them in 2023.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report for the next 24 hours is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus, with you always.
Now we take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Moresby City, partly cloudy with no chances of rain showers and thunderstorms. Daru, cloudy with showers and possible thunderstorms. Kerama, mostly cloudy with few showers and possible thunderstorms. Alatau, cloudy periods with few showers and possible thunderstorms. Popondetta, mostly cloudy with few showers and possible thunderstorms. In Momase region, Lay City, mostly fine. Medang, partly cloudy with brief showers. Wewak, cloudy periods with brief showers. Vanimo, cloudy periods with brief showers. In the New Guinea Highlands region, Lorengau, fine. Kaveng, fine. Kokopo and Rabaul, partly cloudy. Kimbe, cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorms. Buka, cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorms. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen City, cloudy periods with rain showers and thunderstorms. Goroka and Kundiawa, cloudy periods with evening rain showers and thunderstorms. Mendi and Wabeg, rain showers and thunderstorms.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Money Plus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Friday, the 25th of November, 2022. From all of us here, have a great weekend ahead. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.